Well, good morning. We just left Harbor Freight where I had to get a whole bunch of new tools because my toolbox on the back of my truck popped open the other day at some point and a whole drawer left with all the tools in it. So I don't know where they are. So that was all my, Allen wrenches and pliers. So Harbor Freight it is because I'm super cheap and they work. But now that we got those, and a new toolbox ordered because it has to be a certain one to fit with the other one, so that part's not cheap. But now that we got that, we are headed down to La Pine to go get a Ford Ranger and tow it back up here to Bend, so let's go do that. Okay, we're on the way, but there is one thing we have to do before we leave town. Can you guess what it is? We gotta go through a roundabout. Seriously. It is really hard to leave this town without going through a roundabout, so we have to. Okay, should be right up here on the right. That address, looking for a blue Ford Ranger. And that is a blue Ford Ranger. And of course it's got a camper shell on it and it's pulled in, so we're gonna pull it out and flip it around, and I'll tell you why in a second. Okay, I got out and took my pictures of it, checked it out, and it's an unattended tow. There's no one home. It's just sitting here all by itself. And it's sitting here in neutral with no parking brake on. That's how he left it. And a little tip for you, if you're going to have your car towed, don't do that. That makes us instantly hate you. It's stupid. Stop it. Because then when I back up to it with my wheel lift like this to hook up to it, and I bump the tires like that, and you left it in neutral with no parking brake on, then it rolls away and goes off and hits a tree or hits your house or some other car, or like what happened out in the desert one time. Turn around, camera. It rolls way off down the road, off the highway and out into the desert. So, if you like your car and you want us to ever tow it and not screw it up or damage something or get hurt ourselves, quit putting them in neutral. Stop. It's dumb. Okay, so I got out, threw the L arms on it. We're gonna pick it up here and take it out on the road and hook it from the front since it has a camper shell on it. So even if it didn't roll away when I bumped into it with the wheel lift in your driveway, what's gonna happen when I come out here on the road and set it down to grab it from the front? Gee, I don't know, on this slope here, maybe it'll just roll off away and hit your neighbor's house. So stop doing that. Okay, dropped it in the road, turn around, and go get it from the front. The reason we're gonna grab this from the front and tow it forward is because we're gonna go down the highway for quite a ways. There's gonna be wind blowing on it. And on these camper shells that are made of nothing, this little lip right here, the wind goes right underneath, and these cheesy little latches here don't hold up. Then this flips up and usually breaks off. In most camper shells, this one's actually bolted down. 4 bolts it looks like. But once the wind grabs this is a parachute and it just rips it right off. These camper shells are fiberglass. They're super thin. Even though this is bolted with these big washers right here, and this one's loose. Another reason we do this. But this is such a wind catch right here, especially since it would be tilted up. It will rip that washer and bolt right through this fiberglass, and this camper shell will leave, just like my toolbox drawer left. So when they have camper shells on them or tonneau covers or anything like that, I always flip them around, tow them from the front so that I don't buy a camper shell. All right, let's throw the dollies on it and get out of here. Okay, it's loaded up, it's on the dollies, it's tied down, there's a tow light on top. Safety chains are on, and something I do when there's these nice holes right in front to hook with the safety chains, instead of just looping them here and going to that, which would be super easy, I run them down behind my crossbar and then back up. So if it goes that way, chains will catch it. But if I have to slam on the brakes and get rear-ended or something like that, especially on this truck with no boom, there's nothing to stop this thing from going right through the back of the cab. So by running the safety chains under the bar and back up, if it tries to go that way, it'll catch it. Not that I think that's going to happen, but that's my luck. So let's get out of here. Okay, so we are loaded up and headed out of here. And in case you didn't pick up on this earlier, the whole putting the car in neutral thing is kind of a pet peeve of mine, and I get a little upset about it. And in case you're not picking up on what's happening right now, I'm about to go on a little rant about it. So, first of all, the main reason it upsets me so much is just because it is so blatantly stupid. Like, in what world would you think that's a good idea to do? Put the car in neutral and not say anything to the tow truck driver about it and just leave it somewhere? That's dumb. Don't do it. So what I mentioned earlier that you probably caught a little bit of, I was way out in the desert one time on Highway 20. Car is on the shoulder of the highway. Sat there for 3 hours before I could get out there. I told the lady it was going to be a long time. She said fine. She had a ride. I said okay, put it in park, lock it up, take your keys with you, just like you would leave your car in a parking lot at a grocery store, at home, anywhere else. Don't do anything different. I got it from there. Okay, fine. I get out there, take my pictures, back up to it, and as soon as my wheel lift bumps the tires, car starts rolling off down the highway. Went across both lanes of the highway, off over the shoulder, out into the desert, and finally stopped in the sand out there. Luckily didn't hit anything, and really luckily no one was coming because it crossed both lanes of the highway. That could have been a very, very bad situation if it would have been any more traffic than there was. So I was mad at that lady. The two biggest dangers tow truck drivers face is, one, getting hit by people while they're on the side of the road, and two is getting run over by the car they are loading up. And that's actually probably more likely than getting hit by people driving, is to get run over by the car you're loading. That is from people leaving them in neutral without telling the tow truck driver, or, and this happens amazingly often, and when people do it, I say really mean things to them, is while the driver, like me, is under the car hooking up chains, or between the tow truck and the car hooking up the wheel lift, they reach in and put it in neutral. And I had a guy do that actually just yesterday, and luckily the wheel lift was out, so it rolled forward, just bumped into the wheel lift. But I stepped back and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "He was put it in neutral." I go, "In what world would you think that's a good idea?" And he got an attitude about it. So instead of fighting and arguing with him and cussing him up and down like I wanted to, I just got in my truck and I drove off, and I left his ass sitting there in the middle of the street and never went back. So I don't know if he ever got towed or not, but sure as shit didn't get towed by me. So stop doing that. I don't know why people think that's a thing to do. We know what we're doing. We know how we want to tow it. I know how to put them in neutral without the keys. I can unlock the door, put your car in neutral. I don't need your keys. I have dollies where I don't need it in neutral at all. Flatbed tow trucks have skates. They don't need it in neutral at all. Stop doing it. So, now that we got that little rant out of the way, let's take this truck to town, get it to the shop and dropped off, and see what else we have to do today. Is that enough of a rant for you? It's almost enough of a rant for me. I want to say a lot more, but I probably shouldn't. So for now, let's just drive. So we are here, right there. That's the shop. Just drove quietly the whole way here because that makes me feel better. So we're gonna go ahead and get this thing backed into this little hole right here and unloaded, and then I don't know what we're doing after that, but we'll find out. Okay, that was the complete unload from as it goes down the road to taking pictures and ready to drive off down the road in 4 minutes and 52 seconds. With the dollies, with all the tie down, safety chains, everything. So a lot of people say dollies take too long and I don't have that much time. Yeah, you do. All right, let's go drop off these keys inside and get out of here. Okay, just getting the wheel lift put away. There it is. And now we're out of here. Don't know where we're going, so I'll probably go home and go play in the desert or something, because that sounds nice. See ya.